All right, Blues, welcome back to Junior Blues with Stephen, his team company. Make sure you follow him. The link's in the description below. On this part 2, we're going to be talking about the under-18s, under-19s and the EDS, or under-21s. Yeah. Seeing how they're getting on, some key players. As you know, Stephen is our expert on that. But not professionally qualified, but he is the expert.
It's got a loud mouth, really.
Let's start with the under-18s. So how have they got on at the start of the season?
It's been a really, really good start to the season. Weirdly, they lost their first game of the season last weekend against Everton. But other than that, they were unbeaten in 8. They won their first, I think, 5 in a row, drew 2, then won another. This weekend they lost to Everton, but it's been a great start to the season.
Sounds like the senior team won the first 5. And
yeah, there's a lot of parallels there, to be honest. It's a very young team as well. A lot of first-year scholars in terms of players who've just turned 16 and signed their first kind of contract with the club. It's been great, yeah, the top of the league still, but they lost to Everton at the weekend. But in general, it's a very talented group and they're doing really well.
Before we get on to a couple of key players, do they play the same system as the senior team?
They play basically a 4-3-3 really. They have a midfielder that sits a little bit deeper, one a bit ahead, and one who plays just off the striker, and 2 out-and-out wingers usually behind off one.
Right, okay. So who's the player who stood out for you then to start the season?
For me so far, for what he's done at all levels really, under 21s even, under 90s and under 18s, I've been really impressed with Will Patching. He's an England Youth International, but last season he had a few games for the under 18s, but he was still so young, still just turned 16 I think, maybe even 15 at times last year. And he was graceful, really tall, very arrogant player, but very elegant, but he kind of was a little bit lost amongst the older players at times. But this year he's just come on leaps and bounds, and there's this, I hate to say it, but that, you know what everyone, Michael Johnson, everyone wanted him to be, that kind of elegant player with loads of time on the ball. There's shades of that, but he's asserting himself in games. His footwork's great. He scored a few goals and he's even made his debut for the EDS and he looked fantastic.
Midfielder.
Yeah, attacking midfielder, plays off the striker, skillful, tall, good turn of pace, can finish. Brilliant little player. Right,
so we're going to skip the under-19s, come back to that in a minute. Let's move up to the EDS team.
Yeah.
Who's probably not been as good as we've come to expect.
Yeah, it's kind of almost like a transitional year in a way, I think. Like a lot of the best EDS players, Jolino, Jack Byrne and Cham, all those kind of people, they've gone, and Kalichi last season with the EDS quite a lot, and Pozo, another at least good squad player for the EDS last season. They've all moved on to loans and various other things. And we've been left with a bit of a collection of players as opposed to a team really. Like they're trying a lot of players out of position. We've got centre backs playing at right back, we've got, you know, midfielders playing on the wing and so on. There's a lot of players, but that's still kind of part of the development, but they don't see it necessarily as a results thing at that level. They look to kind of further the progress of individuals, so they will try Humphreys at right back and Maffeo at centre back because it helps their game, you know.
The results oriented team, if there is one, is the under-19s, isn't it? Because they only play in the...
Yeah, it's the UEFA Youth League, so you basically get the best of both worlds. You get the peak players of the under-21s, where you get, you know, 3 of them, 3 overage players, but most of our under-21s are young anyway in terms of the team. And you get the best of the under-18s, and they've started this season in the UEFA Youth League brilliantly. 4-1 against Juventus, 2-1 against Sevilla, but each time coming from behind and showing great character, and it's just a really well-balanced team. You've got even 16-year-olds in there like Dehaney, Patching, Nmecha, and they're excelling and doing brilliantly well so far.
Talk about Nmecha, he's one who's made, apart from Patching, he's made a massive impression on him.
I really like him. I didn't know much about him until we saw him until the start of the season, a friendly for the under-18s, and he's a proper poacher. He knows where the goal is. He nips in anywhere, he scores. He's got several, I don't know, maybe about 6 or 7 at least this season, but he scored for the EDS. Despite being 16, David Fowler found himself on the bench behind him, and he's technically brilliant. He reminds me a little bit actually of Nmecha in terms of that close control and that kind of silky kind of way of moving with the ball. And he's a brilliant striker, and he's going to score a lot in the future.
Any key games coming up for any of these teams?
Next week is a big one when you should all be there. It's a week Friday is the under-18s derby at the CFA, and I cannot wait because that's going to be a hell of a game.
2 very good teams as well.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously before the Champions League game, the Sevilla game, the under-19s will be playing at the CFA as well. So
that one's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, definitely.
But thanks for joining us, Annie. Always a pleasure. Make sure you check out Stephen's blog. in the link in the description below. Check out part 1 if you haven't already. That will be in the link in the description below and will be on screen somewhere covering up Stephen's face. But we'll see you again soon for more Junior Blues.